This is me before ever reading Batman Year One. Because after reading Batman the Court of Owls compact comic, I became obsessed with Batman. And y'all pretty much forced me, I mean, not forced, but highly suggested that I read the unofficial early Batman Years trilogy, starting with Batman Year One. So here we are, ready to crack open this massive book. Just kidding, it's only 4 issues. And I'm gonna check in after every issue with my thoughts and reactions. So before we dig into this bad boy, let's talk about the things that I do know about Batman Year One. We're expanding on Batman's past. So while this is not redoing Batman's past, it's kind of expanding upon it. They thought it could be maybe dramatized a little bit more. So they hired Frank Miller to do the job. Number 2, it's more about the characters within Gotham than it is actually maybe about Batman. So according to y'all, especially in the comments, a lot of y'all said that this is more about maybe Commissioner Gordon, as well as getting introduced to a lot of other characters within Gotham, especially Batman's rogue gallery. Number 3, despite being only 4 issues, this is the definitive Batman origin story. And according to League of Comic Geeks, this trade, depending on which one you pick, has somewhere between 4 to about 4.5 out of 5 stars. So given how much y'all have recommended and praised this book, I'm excited to dig into it, but let's see if it lives up to the hype. Issue 1 is done. Jim Gordon, as most of us know him as Commissioner Gordon, is being brought on by the Gotham PD to be a lieutenant. And then Bruce Wayne is also coming back or coming to Gotham after a 12-year hiatus overseas. I don't actually know what he was doing, but from my understanding, he has been training and learning a lot of martial arts. I don't actually know, but I'm pretty sure that's what he was doing. Throughout this issue, though, you can see that Jim Gordon is kind of apprehensive or reluctant to be joining the Gotham Police Department, and he's kind of doing it because he has a kid on the way. And you can see very quickly as to why he doesn't really want to join the Gotham Police Department. Part of it is because they're pretty much the dirtiest police department you'll ever see. I mean, we're talking super dirty. Like, it's going to take more than a Tide pen to clean up the Gotham Police Department. That is a terrible dad joke, I will say that. The other major character that we're introduced to is Detective Flass. He definitely gives off the vibes of like that jerk jock. We're talking like Biff from Back to the Future, Flash Thompson from Spider-Man. Now in this issue, we get a lot of back and forth between what's happening between Jim Gordon and Bruce Wayne. And I honestly really enjoyed that back and forth. What Bruce Wayne has been up to, again, he's been away for a while. We don't know exactly what, but he's basically trying and preparing himself, although he doesn't feel like he's ready to get vengeance for his parents' death. He goes on this recon mission, but doesn't complete it because he gets caught up with a pimp and some prostitutes. But Bruce does make it back home, and he's sitting there injured, brooding in his dark office, talking to himself, looking for answers. He wants to instill fear, but he doesn't know how. And just when he doesn't know how to do it, eureka! A bat smashes through his window. But he's like, that's it, I figured it out. I know how I'm gonna instill fear. And I just kind of find it a little silly and funny that a bat smashing through a window is what is going to give Bruce Wayne the idea of him becoming Batman. I do hope, though, that when he does start to become Batman, that he's kind of like in this still like awkward stage, that he doesn't know what he's doing. Almost like how Peter Parker is with Spider-Man. Halfway through this massive bad boy, issue 1 laid the groundwork, but man, issue 2, shots have been fired from Commissioner Gordon and Batman. Issue 1 laid the groundwork for this little 4-issue series. Issue 2 takes it to another level and really starts to get gritty and increases or ups the storytelling. We continue to develop oh my goodness, I do this every time. This is really an issue about him and developing him more as a character, but we also have Batman's story, or should I say Bruce Wayne's story as and becoming Batman. Now definitely as far as Gordon is concerned, he's really declared war against the rest of the Gotham Police Department. You can see the power dynamic has changed, but now Jim Gordon has fallen in favor with the public, the citizens of Gotham. And the police commissioner and the rest of his colleagues are not so happy that the public is so fond of Gordon. Now, some of the other deeper characterizations that we get in regards to Gordon is we kind of see a little bit more of interaction between him and Barbara and kind of how their life is going right now as they're expecting a child. But you can also see the work continues to call to him, and it kind of puts maybe a tiny bit of a strain on their relationship. But you also see Jim has been spending more time with this female detective or colleague, I don't know. You can tell that they're a little touchy-feely a little bit, and I wonder if there's something extra happening on the side there. In issue 1, Bruce Wayne had talked about how can he instill fear? Well, clearly the Bat is doing it. Batman has declared war on the crime bosses, on the political class, and he's almost put into this like Robin Hood kind of frame almost. He doesn't take the money and give it to the poor. He just, you know, punches people in the face and that's about it. This line was so hard. They're having dinner, he cuts the power, he throws this thing in, and then there's just this cold line. He goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, you have eaten well. You've eaten Gotham's wealth, its spirit. Your feast is nearly over. From this moment on, none of you are safe." Bro, I read that and it was like, man, mic drop, big time. Batman was like, "I'm tired of your shit." Even though this was probably a little bit more about Jim Gordon, we still get a lot in regards to Batman, and now their paths have crossed. And so I'm really curious to see how this goes and how Batman is gonna get out of this situation. Yeah, let's go. We were probably riding like a 7-ish out of 10 intensity level after issue 2, but Miller was just like, "Okay, we're gonna turn this up for these last 2 issues." Also, I know that I said I would check in after every issue, but after issue 3, I just couldn't stop reading and I didn't have time to record in between. So here we are. Issue 3 was really exciting and in some way slowed down a little bit because about half of the issue is picking up where we left off with Batman being in this burning, exploding building, basically. We do now see Bruce is growing and getting better at being Batman as he's trying to evade this SWAT team that is going in after him in this burning building. We also get to see a few more of his tools, which are pretty cool to see. And this continues to develop even further in issue 4. Like this like glider, this I thought was just like a really cool page. But not only do we get the growth of Bruce being the Batman, we get the growth of 2 more subplots. We get to see the growth of Selina turning into Catwoman. Now, I do like this kind of like subplot and seeing this evolution of her. However, it continues to grow in issue 4, but ultimately doesn't really go anywhere. That's probably like my biggest like issue with this whole book. But the more important and interesting subplot that we see grow in issue 3 is the relationship between Jim Gordon and Sergeant Essen. And they definitely crossed the line this issue if they didn't already do so in the previous issues. And that all leads to the final page of this issue. Jim Gordon is sitting at the edge of his bed with his gun. Barbara, his wife, is asleep in bed, and you just see all of the thoughts that are going through Jim's mind. It's such a really good page. Clearly, their marriage is on the rocks, and I mean, you are cheating on her, Jim, just saying. But what I also love in this like conversation to himself is that he is distancing himself from the Gotham Police Department, where he's now utilizing terms of them versus us, you know, really isolating himself from the corruption that is the Gotham Police Department. The other thing that I also really like in this is that he's questioning why he doesn't like Batman, because he notices and realizes Batman did a lot of good things, and he's like, why are we hunting Batman? He seems to be a better person than the entire Gotham Police Department. Since I felt like issue 3 slowed things down a little bit, issue 4, Frank Miller basically speed ran through the final quarter of the year. We put the extra in extramarital affair. We've got cocaine, and who is that? Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Just kidding, it's Batman who apparently learned to climb up walls. Once again, the intensity gets turned up in issue 4, where it primarily focuses on Jim Gordon and Sergeant Essen's relationship. They continue to take things a little too far and ultimately gets Jim and Sergeant Essen into some trouble, including Jim Gordon's family. And in all of this extramarital affair stuff, Jim Gordon and Sergeant Essen have this suspicion that Bruce Wayne is the Batman. Now they go talk to Bruce Wayne and he has a pretty sealed tight alibi. And I personally think by the end of this issue, Jim Gordon doesn't necessarily believe Bruce's alibi, and this is the reasoning why. And I've done a good job, but I can't not have spoilers for this part, so spoiler warning right now. In the aftermath of Jim's family getting in trouble, Bruce performs a heroic act to save his family. And Gordon is not able to see that it is Bruce because his glasses were knocked off of his face. But at the end of this issue, we have Jim Gordon waiting on top of a rooftop saying he's waiting for his friend, meaning that he has this like working relationship with the Batman. I don't know, I just think that like he knows or has a very strong feeling that he knows that Bruce is the Batman. Given all of the things and him questioning earlier of like Batman being a good person, he feels good about this working relationship with Batman because they're both after the same goal, which is to clean up Gotham and make it a safer place. What a great story. Thank you all for recommending this book to me to read. I definitely can understand why this is like the definitive origin for Batman. If I was gonna rank this book, I'd probably give it a 4.85 out of 5. Yeah, it was really good. The art by Mazzucchelli was absolutely stunning. Even the color work by Richmond Lewis, also amazing, like a lot of different contrasting. I do have to say though, I really feel like this is more of a story regarding Jim Gordon than it is Batman. Not that that takes away anything regarding Bruce Wayne and Batman and kind of like his origin and like the definitiveness, if that's a word. Is that a word? I don't know. But this wasn't the only book y'all recommended, but a lot of people suggested that after reading this, I should be reading, where is it? Oh, here it is. The Long Halloween. And my video about that should be right over here somewhere. And if it's not out yet, there should be a video over here that you can go check out in the meantime. And if you're still here, if you like this video and you want to see more like it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe down below. And until the next video, peace.